So for anybody who's played the Persona series, it shouldn't really come as much of a shock to hear that it has film and anime adaptations. I mean, most of their shtick already revolves around that visual novel day-to-day gameplay loop with animated cutscenes already woven into the story points, so it really shouldn't come as much of a surprise to hear that the spin-off of a spin-off of the mainline series got a completely original adaptation. And I am of course talking about Persona Trinity Soul, a completely original story set 10 years after the events of Persona 3. And to be honest, Trinity Soul is honestly a pretty strange piece of Persona media and has garnered quite the reputation that can only be comparable to Atlus's appreciation for the first 3 games in the Persona franchise. Absolutely fucking forgotten. And it's not necessarily anybody's fault that Trinity Souls never really got any traction outside of its initial release. It was more or less just because the overall plot was relatively dull in comparison to the thrilling aspects that was Persona 3's enthralling story. But with an original script, however, it allowed the creative direction of many new things such as a new composer instead of the iconic Shoji Meguro making a return for Trinity Soul. Taku Iwazaki would take up this arduous position, and with what he had, he did a relatively decent job for the most part. There are a couple of the songs from the OST that are genuinely pretty nice to listen to.
Top, knock down, go around the world like merry go round. Look at the good side, ain't only bad. Look at the bad side, only feel sad. So what you gotta do is stay intact. Follow the leader, do the same tactics.
いつから夢見ること忘れたふりをしてたんだろう小さな窓開ける勇気もなく奇跡を待ってた失うものなどなかったあの日のような
Basically, what I'm trying to say is that Taku Iwazaki's take on what a Persona anime soundtrack would sound like was relatively unique, while almost being, relatively reminiscent of what we were accustomed to. Lotus Juice rapping, Yumi Kawamura singing, pianos, you get the general idea of what I'm trying to say. If I'm being completely honest, the composition of the soundtrack isn't bad overall. It's what I would say if this absolute masterpiece of a song wasn't featured on it. You may have never seen Trinity Soul or anything else Persona related, but even those who don't know exactly what I am talking about, and I am of course talking about this hot steaming pile of shit.
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet. And if there's too many heads in my blunt, I won't spark it. I'll put it in my pocket and save it like rocket fuel. Till everybody's gone and it's cool, then I spark it up with my brother. His mama named him Moan, but I call him Moan Lover. And he's more than a cover, he's a quilt. We're putting shit together like the house that John built on a hill. Cause this shit gonna feel like velvet, turtle. My style fits tighter than a girdle. If you hate it, then you can just leave it like Beaver. But in a day or two, I'll make you a true believer in me. Cause like the alphabet, you'll see that ism kicks a rhyme, not your everyday soliloquy. Like Chef Boyardee, my rhyme is truly cooking. Peace to Matty Rich, cause he's straight out of Brooklyn, New York. I don't eat pork or swine when I dine. I drink a cup of Kool-Aid, not a big glass of wine or a Heineken. If you have time, I'll drop rhyme again.
If I'm being completely honest, I think this is by far one of the worst songs I've ever heard, and to be honest with you, I love every single bit about it. As someone who deeply adores music and has at least a 3rd grade level skill of rhyming, I can acknowledge that this man's bars are hot ass. There's just something that screams comedy gold in my head when I hear the words, "We're putting shit together like the house John built on the hill." And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, who the fuck is John? And I constantly ask myself the same question. I want to know who John is, and I want to know why he built his house on a hill. But this absolute disaster piece doesn't end there when it comes to its shitty bars. Literally, the bar before this absolutely puts a smile on my face every time I hear it. It goes, "His mama named him Mo, but I call him Mo Lover, and he's more than a cover, he's a quilt." What the fuck does that even mean? I do understand that this song's lyrics originate from Swiney House, which is a song done by the German sample CD company Masterbits, as stated on Burning Man Soul's Genius description, but even I can't excuse the atrocities that this song's lyrics commit. The only thing I could compare it to is, well, funnily enough, Persona 3's final boss. Spoilers for the ending of P3 and the Answer DLC ahead. Please skip to, if you don't want spoilers. So, in the final battle, your job as the Messiah is to seal away destined death in order to save humanity. So with that premise, you do, until it was later explained in the Answer DLC featured in Fuzz and now Reload that the entire purpose of Makoto or Minato's sacrifice was to actually act as a barrier so that Nyx and a creature called Erebus wouldn't meet one another. And what does the Seas team have to say to that? Fuck all that shit. They fight Erebus anyway, and even beat it, trivializing the entire purpose of Makoto's sacrifice and trivializing the ending of Persona 3. And you're probably wondering why go on this entire rant in the first place when this has absolutely nothing in comparison to Burning Man Soul, and you'd be right. But if I'm being completely honest, the way I feel about what the answer is to Persona 3 is the same feelings I harbor towards Burning Man Soul's contribution to the Trinity Soul soundtrack. It fucking sucks. And to be honest, I really wanted to call this video Learning to Appreciate Dog Shit, but YouTube doesn't really like bad words, and this video is already chock full of them. So yeah. Anyway, to wrap it up and justify my shitty take on the answer, I genuinely do enjoy the answer as, downloadable content. I think it's relatively fun to play. I enjoy playing as Aegis. I enjoy, playing more Persona 3. I love Persona 3 from the bottom of my heart. And, you know what? Answer enjoyers, please don't castrate me. This is just a shit post, and this was the only comparison I could think of at 5 in the morning. So please don't find me. But anyway, if you enjoyed this shit post of a video essay on why I love shitty music and yearn for more garbage, thank you for watching. I didn't really know what to think of when I started making this video at, like I said before, 5 in the morning. So I genuinely just appreciate it if you found this video and decided to watch it, take time out of your day. I do appreciate it a lot. But corniness and clichéness aside, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.
Doing great.